again. That one was so short, I figured I'd record another one. And this one doesn't have a title yet. It's from June 8th. It's the second one of that day. It was at 1953 that night. Still for water or offering. I want you to feel into my energy, my vibration now as I write this. So let's do two things. First, drop down into heart, into your deep center there. You'll know when you connect with it. If not yet, then soon. It's spacious and quiet. It has a special kind of a whispered sense about it. As if, though there is no sound there, yet it's pregnant with sound and potential. Hard to put into words. Now, next, while in heart, touch down with the idea, the understanding, even the feeling that you are source, that you are divine. Step into this. Step out of your outward persona. You're not that. You are divine, but it can take some time to come fully into the sense of this. The simple acceptance of the truth of it. Wherever you are on that scale or journey, accept that your place is perfect for you in your now. However, as source, I will tell you that you have many abilities you are not used to exercising. Let us exercise one of them now. Let us time travel. Without any effort at all, you can make the time shift to join me in this writing here, in my now. See me sitting cross-legged on the couch, the ever-present down pillows close by, the lap desk and keyboard across my lap. Get the sense of that. Feel the fingers on the keyboard. I'm a fairly fast typist, but when I journal, it can be slow too. Taking those pauses that come to connect even deeper within. You can join me here, friends, even and fully to the extent of being me doing this. I will comfort some minds out there with 2 reasons, but be sure to stick with heart, dear ones, or you'll fall right out of sync. The first reason this is possible, aside from you being both source and heart-centered, is due to my invitation being issued right now. I am welcoming you, so that clears the way. The second is simply because you can. It will require getting mind out of the way, but that's not so difficult. Due to your divine nature, you happen to be in superposition throughout all of cosmos right now. And not only everywhere, but also every when. You exist in each nanosecond of time on all dimensions, in all bodies, in all places, doing all those things being done. But most of all, just being, for you are that. You are the one, experiencing the completeness of being whole. Have you heard me say that anything is possible? Did you think I meant something less than anything? There are already those who are separating out due to a bit of clinging to mind. Mind can't take these trips, so it can try. It can imagine, but I invite you down into something so much deeper than that. I want you to get the good, warm feeling of being one with this heart. It's positively yummy, and I like to share that. Besides, it's time you were taking your higher consciousness out for a spin now and again. It's been waiting for you, sitting there seemingly idle while you played around at being a human person. Time to go much deeper than that. When I say, I am you, you are me, please feel free to take me literally, okay? I do not jest. It is not an analogy for something else. It's exactly what I mean. In the one that is the all, we are quite literally all aspects of that one. Mind won't be able to wrap itself around that, but that's okay. It doesn't need to. What good would that do? Make room for being divine. There is so much we carry around that interferes, that gets in the way. Yet things are designed so beautifully, with such perfection, that each of those things will come up into your awareness at precisely the right time. When the timing is perfect for you to both perceive it and know just what to do, how to handle that, and know just what it is, how it is from the past, and so not needed anymore. You get the drill. Now this is if you're in heart. Everything is already perfect, you see. Oh yes, several of you fell out of heart into head over that one. Come on, get back down in. Remember, you're always in mind, so you can leave it aside for these few moments of being with me in the journals. Isn't that right? Don't be a mind addict. How about that? Yes, everything is already perfect. Always has been. Now keep letting mind go. When it pipes up and you notice it, just look back to heart right away. You'll get quicker and quicker at that, till pretty soon you'll be so quick at it you won't even notice that mind had anything to say. It helps when you know from the start that whatever it says, it's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with where you are with the heart journey you're on. It lingers back there in 3D because it must, but you don't have to. You have these much deeper aspects and elements of being to explore, so stick always with heart. Everything is already perfect. Guess I've got my journal title. There. Many more of you stuck with heart that time. Did you feel it? See, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take that much practice. Just some good determination, some knowing what you want and going for it. You've got that, or you wouldn't be here doing this. So, to continue. There's a secret about this perfection that already is. Not everyone is aware of it. Well, that's kind of a well duh, but anyway. It cannot be perceived from 3D, from the level of mind. It goes much deeper than that. Imagine you're the conductor and you have the piece of music in front of you for full orchestra. But all that's playing is the piccolo. That's all you can hear. That piccolo is like the mind. A piccolo can never a full orchestra be. Not in its wildest dreams can it do that, no matter how hard it tries. But, my friend, you are that orchestra, the whole thing. Higher self is the conductor on this level, this lifetime, but you even transcend that. No limits at all, please. It's an important plant for the belief garden. Everything is already perfect, and you can see it from heart. Like anything precious and worthwhile, it may take some time, some practice, a good bit of determination, and earnestness. You don't make this trip without that. This trip into more of the fullness of the divine self. Source is divine, of course, right? Everyone can agree with that. It just makes sense that God or Source is divine. Source is the all that is. Do you accept that? Have you even accepted that there is nothing at all that exists anywhere, any when, that isn't Source? If Source is the all that is, then how could anything exist outside of that? How could that be? How could it make a space for itself outside of Source? There are some who, when they become fully present to themselves, are going to realize that they've accepted a lot of very questionable beliefs, and this may be one. So, staying with heart, let's all have a look at how we feel about this one. That Source is the all that is, that ever was, and that ever will be. Source is that. Do you buy it? Are you game? And if not, feel into that. See where it leads. That's why I advise keeping our hand close to the pause button so we can follow heart, letting it trump simply everything, especially things like videos and documents. Pause when your heart tells you so. Right now, I'm just talking about Source. I'm not asking you to step yet into your full identity with that. We're just stepping back a bit to get a handle on our concepts around Source. When in heart is the ideal time to do this, since we're in our own personal intuition central, the seat of our inner guidance. We're very close to our core, who guides us always with the still, small voice. So, I hope you've accepted that Source is the all across both time and space. That being the case, then it's quite impossible that doesn't include you and me. What are we? We are Source, playing the parts of our seemingly separate lifetimes here on planet Earth. It may be that the reality of our oneness hasn't yet really touched us, much less hit us with any force, but it will in its own good time. For now, it's enough to know we are all contained within that. Now, some are still doing a bit of a fight or a dance with the mind over this. And this is how you discover some deep-seated beliefs that go contrary to what's being said here. This is how they come up. You will notice them trying their best to kick you outside of your heart, Not intentionally, but if you go into the mind, that's the net result. Now, why is that? They want to talk to you, to argue for the opposing point, to get you back into mind where they feel they have a chance to be heard. Thoughts. Now, if you can stay present in heart and continue to hear me from there, I'd like to illustrate this as a pattern you can watch for. It happens often with those who have decided to lead a heart-centered life. What you're noticing is the voice of the subconscious speaking up. That's how it feels, that discomfort, trying to drag you away from heart to where it can be better heard. Here's a big tip. You don't have to be dragged anywhere. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that is worthy of you leaving heart. There is nothing that cannot be handled from a good, solid heart focus. So I'd look with suspicion on anything trying to drag you away. Just watch it, but don't follow its lead, unless you truly feel like it, of course, and that too can be a learning event. We are all in process at our various stages of taking our power back from all those many places where we gave it away. Most of these will involve the mind in some way. The way to stand firm is to stick with heart focus, to deal with whatever it is from there. I find that to be a truly empowered stance. To find out, for those who want to test this, and I hope that's all of you, try making decisions from a heart-centered space and then others from a mind-centered stance, and then compare them. The quality of the decisions that you made compared to the fallout from them. It won't take you long to assure yourself that heart is the best place. You can journal this experiment. It might be fun. I know it may sound strange, but when you're in heart, you're more you. You're closer to who you really are there, and it shows in so many ways. There are those who don't yet know what I mean by heart, even though some of them have been with me for years, listening to all of the videos. When they are heard from mind and not heart, their real message is missed. Assumptions have been made, one on top of another, and a false image of me is created. So some are interacting with that instead of with who I really am. And that's okay too. I'm just mentioning it in the hope that bringing it to your attention will help lure you away from so much trusting in mind. Until we move on toward awakening, we are all mind addicts. It's what we've been taught and programmed to be, so there's no shame in it, none at all. Shame doesn't exist anymore, not once we find our way into heart. Yet it's also an addiction that I hope at some point we will all break. There is a fear underneath it that says it's not possible to function well or effectively without relying on the mind. Until this fear is seen, faced, and addressed, you'll be at a standstill about getting deep into heart. You can head off in that direction, can start to attune with it, but you will never go very deep. At some point, only when you are ready, mind must be completely released. Let go. If that stirs any tightening in the body, any discomfort at all, know and recognize that as fear. See where it's located, where the clench is. Now, there's no need to fix or correct it. Just knowing about it is an excellent start. The next steps are just to observe it, to watch it in action. And for the rest, your own heart and inner guidance will show you the way. Aside from the everyday things of life, and even with a lot of them, I don't choose to act until heart leads me into it. At some point, some years back, I made a total surrender of my life and all that's in it to Source, to heart. I determined that I just wouldn't move unless Source moved me. I don't recommend this approach, actually. It's pretty rough. You find yourself surrendering amazing things, not doing anything at all most of the time. It's not so hard for the mystics among us, for our love affair with Source is so keen, so powerful. It's rather easy to give ourselves over this way. But I know that there is a perfect way for simply everyone, and they will all be unique. However you get there, my friend, just find your way firmly and deeply within. Setting aside some minutes of every day for pure quiet, for repose, for meditation, for whatever you call your quiet time, is priceless. For you, everything depends on getting comfortable with your own deep inner self, your divine nature. Only the guidance that emanates from there has real worth in your life. You can view the rest of us out here lending a hand as guidance counselors, as advisors, but don't just accept what we say. Until you run it by your heart, it's not worth keeping, my friend. By living a heart-centered life, you will wake up. You won't be able to help yourself. You will awaken. Actually, I forget now who it was, but I heard a trusted teacher, it might have been Adyashanti, give his definition of awakening. He said it was the move out of the head and into the heart. He really made it that simple, head to heart. I just heard this recently. I was so pleasantly surprised to hear it. It really startled me. It didn't surprise me so much, but lately it's been a bit startling to be hearing so much of the deep core of what comes from this heart, of what makes it into the journals, come to me from the mouths of others. That feels a bit strange. Give it your all, my friends. Find a way. You are Source. And you'll find it out by direct experience one day. Meanwhile, perhaps it's enough just to know you're divine. You are a divine emanation of that. This lends the ultimate power to your journey from the head into the heart. You can have what you want, for you are that. You are the one. You are Source. I saw some head straight for mind when I said you can have what you want. That's not what I said. I didn't say you can have what your mind wants. You were getting to know the real you. It has no part of mind. The only barrier to that now is, you guessed it, your mind. It will stand firmly in the way in its many attempts to protect its place of holding the power of your life. It has been in first place up to now, and it doesn't take kindly to being ousted. Now, you may be beyond this point, but everyone has to go through it at some point. And you'd be amazed at those who think they have won out over mind and finally made it home into heart, but they have not. You see, they made the mistake of underestimating their mind. Oh, sure, they won the out-and-out fight, the struggle where they went one-to-one over their desire to go within. They may have even cut mind off at the pass as it became more wily in a number of situations. Mind is slick, so very slick, where they failed to quite accomplish what they're determined that they did is when it came to mind playing the enlightened ego, a part it plays oh so well. And so, by making nicey-nicey and seemingly to totally cooperate with their desire to lead a heart-centered life, they are actually not as successful as they think they are. So, do be on the lookout for the wiliness of mind, for how very slick it can get, how it can morph on a dime to whatever confirmation will get you to follow and agree with it. This is where real earnestness comes from, my friends. The truly earnest one simply cannot fail. We all stumble and fall, often, but success in heart living is guaranteed to the earnest one. You see, here's a big clue. In heart, deep down, where you come across not just unconditional love and joy and the like, but also deep respect, you will come into contact with a surprise. Humility, capital H, a divine attribute. While it just doesn't make sense, mind sense, I tell you, it's what I found deep down in heart. I don't know how to begin to put words to this divine quality of heart, so I don't think I will try. You will know the vibration when you enter into it, this divine humility with a capital H. It deeply influences your heart vision. You will see things differently, humbly, because of it. It's almost kind of an erasing of identity, of the false identity. So, by knowing this is there for you, I hope it will be just that one extra signpost to help you recognize when you've really made it deep into heart, and not let you settle for what mind will try to accomplish, being the enlightened one. That just prolongs the ego's reign of power that much more. You wouldn't think that proud mind, for yes, it is bossy, thinks it knows so much and is all that, would consent to such a limited reign of power as to play the enlightened one. This diminishes its power quite significantly, there being so very many routes or avenues it would love to go down that playing this part will prevent. It really clips mind's wings. However, when you are so vastly desperate, when you stare losing simply everything, or so you think, the loss of all power of any kind, you will take whatever crumbs you can scrape up from the floor. Many a mind has fashioned this enlightened state into its new habitat and domain. When you are in heart and you encounter someone else in this state, Heart will tell you. It will show you this at work. You will see and sense a certain brittleness in that one, a certain not liking to be crossed. That one is never as open as the one who has truly found heart. There is still the sense there of wanting to be right, of wanting to look good. I don't share this to point anyone up. I'm not naming any names. That's not the point. The point is for you, my friend, strictly for you, to help you get even closer to your own heart and tune into that. How someone else lives their life is not your business or mine. If you find the enlightened ego, you'll know you're in ego if you feel you must mention it to them in some way, whether subtle or not. Just stick with your heart, self, and now here. That's the true way that I've found, and it is so full of blessing that there's more than enough to go around. You never know when that enlightened ego may have a fuller awakening just by being in your presence without you uttering a peep. You serve in your silence, you see. Your vibration, being in heart as you are, is the most powerful it could be. It reaches out, touching everyone and everything in sight, and it goes beyond. Remember, we're all connected fractally. We are directly joined. Call it quantum entangled if you're of a science bent. It doesn't matter. Just you being the best you can be, which is done by simply being always in heart, is a huge service to simply all of life. Nothing and no one is excluded, even other dimensions, other worlds. We've got to come way up out of mind's more limited view. It's fine for 3D, but friends, we're beyond that now, if we want to be. And it's time we were taking more and more steps in these higher dimensions we now occupy. But as long as we leave mind at the helm, we won't step out. We won't even see what's there to be seen, the complete perfection of it all. That person over there playing the enlightened ego part, that one is simply perfect, just as they are. And it's only mind that would think otherwise. Now, the head won't ever be able to understand that, being linear like it is and judgmental. But heart does. In an instant, heart just knows. That one is there to serve you, to illustrate the point for you so that you may see it in action, perhaps. Only don't let mind try to figure it all out. That's not necessary. And actually, as you guessed, it will pull you out of heart. In heart, we just be. We leave the thinking for mind and do precious little of that. Do you see? I know many of you are easily tracking along with these journals, and I'm glad. I feel your presence. I'm also glad, though, for the ones for whom it doesn't yet quite make sense. It will be the pull, the goad to help them keep after their goal of being fully one in heart. They will be able to tell just by their response to the journal how well they track with it. It's enough. Namaste.